Do you know what they did to the native workers who stole diamonds? Don't worry, they didn't kill them. The operation was called hobbling.
Any God.
Shh, trust me.
Eddie, please!
Almost done. God, I love you.
I mean, come on, man. That is one of the greatest scenes in horror history. Welcome back to Beyond the Gray Media. This is Josh here, checking in on you. Can you tell that I'm feeling a little bit better? My cold is just about gone. I got a lot of the gravel out. I got a little bit of razzle-dazzle in my step. And tonight, it's cold out here. It's freezing. There's like crazy winds coming. They say, hey, we're going to lose power. You're not going to be able to do anything tonight. And I said, perfect. Dude, fucking perfect. Perfect for one of the best films of all time from 1990. Am I right? I hope so. 1990s Academy Award winning Misery. One of, however you made it here, buckle up, man. Go grab your blanket and a little cup of coffee or a little hot toddy, maybe a little Irish, whatever you want to do. We're talking Misery, one of my favorite movies of all time. I think for physical media fans, we are creatures of habit. Rigid, stuck in our ways, we have certain tendencies, tics, habits, rituals that are extremely hard to break. For as long as I can remember, I've had movies. No matter what is happening, a good movie you've got memorized lives deep in your bones. The rhythms are a comfort, almost like, a warm blanket. It's cheesy, but it's a thing. Movies can move mountains for your mental health, image, friendships, and shape the way you look at the world. There's only a few films that I'm able to watch on a loop. Good times, bad times, or indifferent. Most of them have been established before I really even knew better. And the one that I revisit multiple times a year for no fucking reason is Rob Reiner's 1990 masterpiece, Misery. Misery has it all. Charm, suspense, music, tone, vibe, isolation, desperation. It is one powerful film that I have recommended since I was just a little fella. The backstory of how I found this film, it's batshit crazy and makes no damn sense to me, really, or to anyone. So, somewhere back in the 1990s, I think my parents had had enough. Enough Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, Barbies, kids' toys, and the rat race that comes with the blue-collar lifestyle, all of that hustle and bustle with none of the razzle-dazzle. I think they wanted something for them. So New Year's Eve around 10 p.m., all the blankets and all the pillows were out. The corn was popped and the kid-friendly champagne a la Martinelli sparkling cider was poured. Into the trusty VCR that handled like a Mack truck on a curvy road started Misery. Shh, shut up, I said. Sit down, put that thing down. You guys, this is a really good movie and you're gonna be celebrating New Year's with it. My parents didn't really yell, but that's kind of how I remember this thing, right? The movie starts and ends up pacifying the entire room. I was the oldest of my three, siblings, and it freaked me out, man. But I was hooked. Plot of Misery. It's simple. It's easy to follow. It's like some sort of fucked up roadmap. It's like a weird game of hide and seek or stock and clap, and that's what makes it so relatable. It would suck me in for no reason. Misery is based off the gripping novel by Stephen King, which follows the story of Paul Sheldon, successful author who becomes the captive of his #1 fan, Annie Wilkes. Throw in a car accident in a remotely snowbound area, and Paul is he's rescued, he's captured, moreover, by Annie, who turns out to be his savior, biggest fan, and also just some sort of batshit predator. While she nurses him back to health, it becomes apparently clear Annie has a problem and a dark obsession with Paul's work, particularly a series of novels featuring a character named Misery Chastain. I'm also just going to kind of go with this review. This movie means so damn much to me personally that I'm not going to be able to keep my thoughts in a straight order. I wrote out a plot, I wrote out a script, I wrote out some things that I wanted to say, but it's pretty easy when you watch this film hundreds and hundreds of times. It's a trip. That was my New Year's tradition. I passed it on to my family now. So every New Year's Eve, we bust out the handy dandy Misery. If you don't want it on VHS, right, because maybe it's the 2000s now, then you got it on DVD. When the 2000s passed and everything got a little more clear, you go to 4K Blu-ray from Kino. There's a version of Misery for every season, for every year, for every generation. I think it is a perfect film. Pacing, plot, every damn thing. It's fucking perfect. So, sorry, I'm all over the place. My New Year's Eve tradition, it started by my parents. They brought out the pots and pans and they were like, after we watch this movie, you get to bang on the pots and pans and celebrate New Year's Eve. I don't think I even knew what New Year's was. We never really paid attention to it. New Year's Day was always like kind of boring. We were just kind of watching football. And the reason that we were from, the teams that my dad always lost, so it was always kind of like a bad day, if you know what I'm saying. And now I'm very familiar with that feeling. So New Year's Eve now, as a kid, we've got the little flutes of champagne. They're pouring me Martinellis. They got popcorn going. There's little Smokies or pigs in a blanket that my mom would always make. There was candy, M&M peanuts. You can't have those chips. Those are Dad's chips, right? And everyone's on the couch. Everyone's just sucked in to this snowy, freaking freezing cold experience. And it was the best New Year's ever. And then we repeated that tradition for years on end until I met my wife. I tried to do it with other people, but no one really. You gotta have the right mindset for Misery. And once you watch it, I think if you actually pay attention, this is a 10 out of 10 film. 10 out of 10 novel. It's a quick sit. It's a quick read. It's just perfect. So yeah, I let my son watch Misery last year, and he is 7. So I'm keeping that tradition. I'm keeping that fire going with my family. Why you should watch Misery? Maybe we'll take a little pause. Let me see if I wrote anything important. Maybe I can remember something from my hundreds of times of watching it, you guys. It's easy. That's what's so cool about Misery. It's a really simple story to follow, right? It's just it's hide and seek, or it's stalk and maim. Dude writes novels, goes to write his story. I think that's a really relatable thing. All right, he's going to finish his book. He's going to have a glass of a certain kind of brandy or whatever. Or, maybe it was, whatever, right? He smokes a cigarette, but he doesn't smoke anymore, but just that one day he does. He drives the same Mustang, probably listens to the same music on the same curvy-ass fucking Denver road, deep into Colorado, into the right. It's just awesome, dude. And of course, the number one fan knows all of his tics and all of his habits of being an old writer, so you gotta feel like Stephen King maybe himself was kind of trapped in this story, and this was like his way of getting those obsessive thoughts out. Perfect, dude. So yeah, and then all of a sudden your number one fan decides that she's gonna pick you up after you get into a car accident. She's gonna nurse you back to health, and the house and the home that she's gonna nurse you back to health in is a 10. The setting, the isolation, the snow, you're just completely trapped in this house with Annie fucking Wilkes. And Annie fucking Wilkes is a little cockadoodie fucking crazy, right? Mr. Man, she knows exactly what she's doing. She stalks people. She gets fired from her job. If you've read the novel, right, there's a ton of stuff when Paul reads the Memory Lane book and he goes down Nurse Annie and everything that's happened. Of course, she's got all the drugs in her house, right, to fucking, oh my God, man. So Paul's just trapped. The phone lines are down. He can't leave. She can barely go into town because she wants him to write her favorite novel. She wants him to finish Misery. Paul's kind of trapped by the character, also very relatable for Stephen King. Then he decides, we're just going to kill this character off because I got a new story I'm working on. That's why I'm up here and I want to get it out into the world. It's got a lot of, shit, fuck, goddams in it, right? It's got a ton of bad language, and Annie can't stand that, so she burns it up on the bed. Amazing scene. The room catches on fire. That poor old Weber, the Smokey Joe. Awesome movie. My favorite thing about this flick, it's got to be the isolation. There's something so cozy and tucked in about this film. It could be, did Misery happen first, to my little 10-year-old brain? It came out when I was 7 or 8, but I don't think I watched it for a couple of years. I had in 92, 93. Or was I already comfortable with, weather and the fire and being home and under a blanket and watching really good scary movies, thrillers, right? I've always had a thing for survival movies next to Westerns too, because I grew up on that shit, so there's something about Misery and the setting that is just so, the remoteness of it, the idea that bad weather is there and you can't leave. Sign me up, man. Checks every box, right? She's up there watching Love Connection. She's got a bag of Cheetos and a 2-liter Coca-Cola. She's fisting that thing. Fucking beautiful. Perfect. That sounds like the best time. Not for Paul, but she's just living it up. She can't leave. The weather's bad. What are you going to do? You're going to binge some stuff and you're going to eat your favorite snacks. There's something so cozy about that. Even that horrible music she's playing. I wish that we had a miniseries based on this film. Can you imagine a 10-episode miniseries where we're following around tablecloth wearing Annie Wilkes and her fucking psycho host Beast Thickening? Just nuts, man. That would be such a great series. Trapped in hell, learning about Annie, previous lovers, divorces, murders, right? You get the sheriff, you get the whole town involved, there's conspiracy. Come on, somebody pick that thing up. Come on, HBO, you know what you're doing. I know why you've stuck around, right? You want to talk about the scene. Misery has one of the best scenes in horror movie history. The scene, they can't stand it, but it also makes this film have stakes. It's you have real stakes in this movie. When I let people borrow it, and they're like, man, that was a pretty good movie, up until the hobbling scene where Annie Wilkes takes this sledgehammer to Paul Sheldon's legs because he uses his wheelchair, he escapes, he picks the lock, he knocks the damn penguin the wrong way, right? And she finds out. She drugs him. He keeps a knife under the bed. He is ready to take out this psycho, this beast of a woman. This Kathy Bates is a good actress because she kind of has to be, right? She just murders his ankles. She's like, yeah, dude, you're not escaping again. I've been following your little path. And she hobbles both of his ankles. She puts the piece of wood between the ankles and she takes one whack and she tells him, darling, it's almost over, I promise. And she just knocks him all to shit, man. That scene, 10 out of 10. I don't know if that's what makes the movie a 10 out of 10. I think there's plenty of great things going for it, but that is infamous in horror history. I think it just puts it over. Everything about this movie, dude. The hobbling scene. Damn, I've been talking for 11 minutes and I still have I don't know. I think I said 11 I have 11 more pages of text that I wanted to read about Misery. It's a 10. It's an absolute cinematic classic. You don't need me to tell you that, right? Everyone's probably seen it. If you haven't, for some odd reason, turn off this talking head right now. Go to HBO. Cue this thing up. I hope that it's snowing where you're at. I hope you have a fireplace and a log. Grab your favorite adult beverage. Don't drink. Totally cool, man. We got mulled apple cider. We got hot coffee. We got hot cocoa. We got a blanket. We got whatever you need. In my garage right now, I can hear the rain just pounding. It's seeping over into the spillway out there. So I got to go up and clean the gutters. I got to get my little Christmas light hanging jacket on, right? There's supposed to be a crazy wind surge. There's a major storm coming through the northern Oregon area. So I hope that it just goes to shit. We can't. It's so icy. It's so snowy. We can't work. That's probably way too soon in the season for it. But Misery is perfect for days like that. This is a perfect snowbound. Can't leave the house. Grab your favorite food and your favorite beverage and put this thing on and just put it down, man. Consume it. So another thing I was thinking about, just want to get your guys' take on, was what do you think about tiered memberships? Does anybody really care about that? YouTube is offering it to me now that I'm one of the paid partners or whatever. And so, there's up to 5 memberships for people that don't know. I'm still really, really new at it, so I have not activated it. But what it would be, it's like you can go from so many dollars a month to up to, I ultimately choose what it is. It would be cheap as hell because I don't know. It is a perk, but it'd be kind of fun. My buddy Mitch, who always comments on these videos, he's always got something to say. He's got great takes. He was like, hey man, you should watch this film. It's right up your alley. And I've watched part of it and I was like, oh man, I gotta watch that. You should review it. And I was like, well, that's kind of what the paid program could be, where you've got a tiered membership where you can request a film and there's live streams that are just for you. You get emojis, there's member shout outs, there's different things that are specific to your channel, and that would keep it super affordable. But if no one's really interested in that, totally cool too. You might see it pop up on there. It is more work that I'd have to do, so it's totally cool, but I just thought I'd bring it up. It's weird to ask for money. Not a big fan of that. I think that, just kind of off the record, some of my videos aren't going to get monetized anyway because I still like to use pieces of clips, or I try not to use sound because I don't want them to be completely banned. But if it can't be monetized, but I really like the video or I'm working on something, I really don't care. If there's another way to make $1 off of it, I'm not making any, right? I'm not doing YouTube for money, so it'd just be kind of cool to I don't know. It would be cool to have a little members only section where people can chat or whatever. But really, just hit me up on Instagram and I'll talk to you. That's kind of what I do. So just kind of an idea. If you see that pop up on there, nobody has to join. I don't want to take any money from anybody. So yeah, don't ever feel anything like that. It's been on there for a week, maybe a week and a half. And they keep sending me an email to set it up. And it's weird to be do you want to pay $2 to have your the Beyond the Grave emoji, and as you pay more money you get better emojis, you get responses to comments, you get better super chats, right? You get little, I don't know, super cheesy, man. So we'll see. Don't feel any pressure, man. I am not about trying to make anybody's money. So love you guys. Take care of yourselves. I've got Cody from The Dude Who Loves Movies coming on Thursday. We're gonna talk 90s everything, 90s nostalgia, food, drinks, video, whatever we get into. We're going to go through some horror stuff because that's what we do, but I think it's going to be super fun. I want to really get to know the dude. I got some questions for him. I'm going to try to throw him some curveballs and really just Just have a good time Thursday night. It's going to be 9 p.m. midnight Eastern. I guess that would be the next day. That would be Friday morning, technically. So check me out there. Take care of yourselves. Cheers.